Hello friends, I'm Fenzi of Fenzi Couture. Welcome again to my channel. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, simply subscribe for more professional sewing videos, okay? And I'm sure you wouldn't want to miss any of my videos. So in this tutorial, I'll be teaching us how to read the measuring tape accurately. So stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Fenzi Couture. I want to quickly explain in details how to read your measuring tape, okay? How to read your measuring tape. I'm taking us back to the basics, as in how to effectively get familiar with your measuring tape. Taking accurate measurements can be the difference between a greatly finished job or a superb one. What do I mean by this? Your measurement go a long way in determining the total outcome of your garment, okay? And that is why we mustn't neglect or ignore any measurement on our tape. So let's take a look at the measuring tape quickly. Before me my measuring tapes, okay? So let me just keep one outside. Let me keep them outside and make use of one. Now looking at this tape very well, right before me is my measuring tape. Right before me is my measuring tape. Can you see? There are two parts of a measuring tape. The measuring tape consists of two parts. We have the parts in inches and we have the parts in centimeters, okay? Either centimeters or inches, they are the same. These parts are in centimeters, while these parts are in inches. Can you see? These are in inches and these are in centimeters, okay? Either centimeters or inches, they are all the same, as long as you know how to make use of it accurately, okay? 1 centimeter, let's look at the measuring tape very well. So from here to here, let me use this green one. From here to here is 1 centimeter, okay? 1 centimeter is equivalent to 2.5 1 inch is equivalent to 2.5 centimeters here. So how do you determine it? All you need to do is fold these parts. Just take your 1 inch, fold it. If you want to know the equivalent in centimeter, just fold it and turn your tape to the other parts. Can you see it on 2.5? It's not up to 3, okay? Same way, let's check 2 inches. 2 inches is equivalent to 5 centimeter. Now check the back. Can you see? Can you see it's on 5 centimeter, okay? So that's how you just keep checking it, as in inches to centimeter. Just fold wherever the inches is, fold it and turn it to the other part. You'll be able to know the particular spots it gets to, okay? Now looking at this tape, we have from here, this tape is a 60 inches tape, because it stops at 60, okay? This one stops at 60. There are some that it stops at 120 inches, okay? So whichever you lay your hands on is very okay. So now if we take from here, from this 1 inch, I usually work with inches, okay? Though some people use centimeters, so it all depends on you, the one you prefer to use, how good you are in reading it, okay? So now from this 1 inch, now if you measure up to 36 inches, will give you 1 yard, okay? From one, talking about the inches now, I'm talking about inches, not centimeter. From 1 inch to 36 will give me 1 yard of fabric, okay? it will give me 1 yard. 1 to 36 will give me 1 yard of fabric. Then from 1 again to 45, 1 to 45 inches will give me a full, as in a trouser length. So when you get to the fabric shop, you want to buy fabric and you know what you want to use will be more than 1 yard. So rather than get there and tell them you want to buy 1 yard, which is 36 inches, just demand to buy 1 trouser length, and 1 trouser length is also equivalent to 1 yard and quarter. What do I mean 1 yard and quarter? Because 36 is 1 yard. When you divide 36 by 2, you have 8. You have 18, and when you divide 36 by 4, you have 9. So if you add 9 to 36, it will give you 45 inches. Okay, so that will give you 1 yard, 1 trouser length, and that is why the price of trouser length is usually higher than the price of just 1 yard of fabric. Okay, so having known that, let's take a look at each markings on the measuring tape. Each markings on the measuring tape. Now when we look at this, let me get my, look at this 1 inch mark. Okay, look at this 1 inch mark. Now from here to here is 1 inch, right? And on my paper here, look at my paper here, this 1 inch from here to here is, from here to here is 1 inch. Okay, if we decide to divide 1 inch by 2, you have half inch. That is, you just take this 1 inch now, you divide it by 2. Can you see? This is half. So this half is what I have here, 1/2. Okay, so on your measuring tape, all these inches, all these marks, there, it has meaning. Okay, all these marks on your measuring tape has meaning. So I want to relate this to exactly what I have on my paper. So from here to here is 1 inch. That's from here to here is 1 inch, right? Now if I divide my 1 inch into 2, I have I have half inch. This is my half inch here. Okay, this is my half inch. Now this half inch, if I decide to divide my half inch into 2 again, I will have this. I'm just showing us the meaning of the markings. I will have this 1/4 inch, and this is the 1/4 inch here. Can you see? So this is the half inch mark, which is not as long as the 1 inch mark. Okay, then this is the 1/4 inch mark. Now this 1/4 inch, if I decide to divide it into 2 again, which is this part, okay, if I decide to divide this 1/4 inch mark, this one here, if I decide to divide it into 2 again, to give me 1/8 of an inch. So while this one gives me 1/4 inch, that's 1/4, this one will simply give me 1/8 of an inch, 1/8. Okay, so if this one gives me 1/8, if I divide 1/8 into 2 again, it will give me 1/16. Can you see? It will give me 1/16. It will give me 1/6. Now I haven't gotten 1/16 here. Okay, I haven't gotten 1/16 here. So now looking at this, now you'll be wondering, all these marks, what does it entail? Okay, what does it entail? So if this is 1/16, this will be 2/16. But you cannot, in fractions you have to break it down. Okay, you cannot just leave it like this. So 2 in 2 will give me 1, 2 in 16 will give me 8. That was how they were able to get 1/8 here. Okay, so if this is 2/16, that means this one will be 3/16. Okay, that's 3/16. If this is 3/16, this 1/4 inch will be 4/16. Now 4/16, you have to break it down. 4 in 4 will give me 1. 4 in 16 will give me 4. So that was how they were able to get 1/4 here. So if this is 4/16, this will be 5/16. Okay, then this will be 6/16. 6/16. Okay, if this is 6/16, this will be 7/16. I just want to be fast about it. If this is 7/16, this will now give me, so this 6/16, if I decide to break it down, how many 2 do I have here? It will give me 3. How many 2 do I have in this 16? Will give me 8. So this will be 3/8. Okay, so now from here, 7/16, this place will be 8/16. 8/16. How many 8s here? 1. How many 8 in 16? Will give me 2. So that's the essence of the 1/2 here. Okay, so it just goes on and on. 8/16, this will be 9/16. Okay, then this will be 10/16. This will be 11/16. This will be 12/16. So how many 4 can you get in 12? It will give you 3. How many 4 can you get in 16? It will give you 4. That's the essence of the 3/4 here. Okay, so now if this is 12/16, this will be 13/16. This will be 14/16. This will be 15/16, and this will be 16/16. And 16/16, when you break it down, it gives you one whole number. This is the excess of the 1 inch mark. So for everything you see here, it represents something. Ability to read it very well. Okay, so now I haven't done with the 16 inch mark, because this particular tape before me is the 8 inch mark. Okay, this is the half, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch. There are some tapes that get to there are some tapes that are 18 inch mark, 1/8 inch mark tape, like this one that I have. There are some that are 1/4 inch mark tape. I don't have that one. There are some that are 1/16 inch mark tape, and there are some that are 1/32 inch mark tape. This particular tape is not so common. Okay, amongst us seamstresses, this particular tape is not common. You can find this, or this, but for these ones I have before me, they are 1/8 inch mark tape. So now, to quickly get started, let me keep this aside and just be fast about this. Okay, so now look at this. This is 1 inch. Okay, from here to here is 1 inch. If I divide it into 2, I have half. Okay, if I decide to divide my half into 2, so this will be 1/4. This will be 1/4, while this will be 3/4. This will be 3/4. Okay, so it's just as simple as that. This will be 3/4. If I decide to divide this again, this 1/4, you know, this my tape is 1/8 of an inch mark, so I'm just dividing it according to my tape measure. Okay, 1/8 inch mark tape, that's the tape I'm making use of. So this will be 1/8. This will be 2/8, right? This will be 3/8. This will be 4/8. This will be 5/8. This will be 6/8. This will be 7/8. So can you see? This is what this tape entails. Okay, this is everything this particular tape entails. But now, how do we convert this, especially when we are looking at decimals? For example, let's assume you want to cut you cut a circle skirt, and you want to measure the circle skirt. Okay, you want to measure the circle skirt, and maybe you arrived at 3.25. How do I determine 3.25 from these fractions on my measuring tape? Because on your tape here it's in fractions. Okay, you either have 1 inch, or you have ½ inch, or you have 1/4 inch, or you have 1/8 of an inch, or you have 3/4 of an inch. So how do I convert my fractions to my decimals to fraction? Okay, so all you need to do is just you need to master these things. You need to master it. Look at conversion of fractions to decimals. Okay, you can just write it somewhere if you have not mastered it or offhand. And how do you get this? All you need to do is just to say 1 divided by 5. Okay, let me get my calculator. So all you need to do is just pick the fraction you want to convert to decimal. Okay, let me say 1/5 now. Okay, you just say 1 divided by 5. It will give you 0.2. As you can see, that's 0.2. Okay, 1/8 of an inch, 1.8. That's 1 divided by 8. Okay, 1 divided by 8 will give me 0.125. Okay, now this 1/4 of an inch will just be 1 divided by 4. That will give me 1 divided by 4 will give me 0.25. So these are things 0.25. So these are things you just have to know offhand. Your decimal fractions, your decimal and your fractions, you just have to master it. So peradventure you are not used to it yet, you can just measure it and keep somewhere, just paste it on your word so that you'll be able to master it. Okay, so for example, let me assume I did some calculations and I got maybe circle skirt or something, and you got 3.25 or 3.75. okay, how do I come to my tape rule now and search for 3.75? Or how do I come to my tape rule and search for 7.25? Now just come here, 1, 2, 3, right? Now look at it closely. If this is 3 inches, right, between 3 and 4, I'm looking for 3.25, abi? So between 3 and 4, this is ½ inch here. This mark here is ½ inch mark. Okay, between my ½ inch mark is my 1/4 inch mark, and I know 0.25. I know 0.25 is equivalent. 0.25 as a decimal number is equivalent to 1/4 of an inch in fraction. So even if I had gotten 3.25, my senses should tell me that 0.25 means 1/4 of an inch in fraction. So I just come to my tape rule here and I measure 3 inches. This is my 1/4 of an inch here. Okay, this is my 1/4 of an inch here. If I were to look for 7.7 point, let me say 7.75, 5 7.75 or 7.5, I'll just come here, count, go to where 7 is. 0.5 is half inch. Okay, 0.5 is half inch here. 0.75 is 3/4 of an inch, which is this part. I'm running away from the flash. So this is 7.25. 7.75, I mean. While this one here is 7.25. You understand? While that one there is 7.25. What do I mean by all I'm saying is that you cannot do without your decimal and fractions. It is very, very important. Okay, it is very, very important. Okay, let me say I'm looking for 9 point, let me say I'm looking for 9.6. 9.6. We all know that 0.6 something is around 5/8 of an inch. And what is 5/8 of an inch here is here. Can you see? Can you see that it is above the half inch mark? So because I'm looking for 5.6 now, I'll just come here. This is my 5 inches here. Okay, and I know I'm looking for 5.6, and I know according to my decimal this is 0.625, right? 0.2625 is equivalent to 5/8, and on this I have my 5/8 after my half inch mark. So what does this tell me? So I'll pick my 5.6 after my 5.5 inch mark. So my 5.6 will be around here. This is it. So it's just as simple as that. Your decimal numbers pinpoint to where the number is on your tape rule. Okay, and that is why you cannot afford to joke with your decimal and fractions on your this thing on your tape rule. Okay, so that's all about the measuring tape. It's very easy to master and get more familiar with our measuring tape. It's very easy. Thank you. So if you enjoyed my video, kindly give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel for more sewing videos. Thank you.